President Trump is escalating a public fight with Pope Leo XIV after going after the pontiff in a social media post and calling him weak on crime and terrible on foreign policy. The clash comes as Pope Leo has been increasingly outspoken on major moral and global issues, including the war in Iran, poverty, and inequality.
I have no fear.
This is what the Pope had to say recently on X. He said hundreds of millions of people throughout the world are immersed in extreme poverty, yet disproportionate wealth remains in the hands of a few. It's an unjust scenario in the face of which we cannot fail to question ourselves and commit to changing things. The Pope had recently also posted about this earlier in the year, but this time Donald Trump answered with a very long and scathing attack on Truth Social, criticizing the Pope's worldview and framing him as out of step on issues tied to crime and international affairs. Since we don't want to read this, he also talked about it.
Why did you attack Pope Leo on Truth Social?
I don't think he's doing a very good job. He likes crime, I guess. He hit us. Think of it. He's worried about fear. What about the fear when the ministers and the priests and all of those great people that were arrested during COVID, and in many cases they're outside 10 feet apart and they were arrested. So we don't like it. We don't like a pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of Pope Leo. He's a very liberal person. And he's a man that doesn't believe in stopping crime. He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
No word on how many nuclear weapons the U.S. has. Hundreds. It's fine for us to have, I guess, to blow up the world, but not for Iran, according to Donald Trump. And according to the Pope, he should feel that way. Only the rhetoric got sharper from there. Pope Leo responded, making it clear he does not see himself as a politician, but also said he is not afraid of the administration and will continue speaking out where he believes that moral truth requires it.
I have no fear of neither the Trump administration nor speaking out loudly about the message of the gospel.
The message of the gospel is very clear. Blessed are the peacemakers. I will not shy away from announcing the message of the gospel, of inviting all people to look for ways of building bridges for peace and reconciliation, of looking for ways to avoid war anytime that's possible. To put my message on the same plane as what the president has attempted to do here, I think is not understanding what the message of the gospel is. And I'm sorry to hear that, but I will continue on what I believe is the mission of the church in the world today.
I do not look at my role as being politician. I don't want to get into a debate with him. I don't think that the message of the gospel is meant to be abused in the way that some people are doing. And I will continue to speak out loudly against war, looking to promote peace, promoting dialogue and multilateral relationships among the states, to look for just solutions to problems. Too many people are suffering in the world today. Too many innocent people are being killed. And I think someone has to stand up and say, there's a better way to do this.
Then this story took another turn, and this is the part that created a whole new controversy. Trump, late at night on Sunday, posted an AI-generated image that appeared to depict him as a Christ-like figure healing the sick. The image showed him in flowing garments, laying hands on a man surrounded by worshipful imagery and patriotic symbols. You see the American flag there in the back. It looks like some demons or angels directly behind him there. Bald eagles on the right-hand side of him as he heals a man that appears to favor one Jeffrey Epstein. Look, it just looks like him. I don't know if it was intentional or not. As doctors, army person, and a couple of white people on the left side look on. The post immediately drew backlash, not just from Trump's critics, but from voices on the right who say that it crossed the line, including one Marjorie Taylor Greene, who said it's more than blasphemy, it's an antichrist spirit. Oh, big words there. I mean, not making it not leaving it any sort of shrouded nature there. But after deleting the post, which he did do, first time for everything, Trump actually deleted a post because people were in uproar about it. He actually did delete the post. It no longer exists on Truth Social. He later tried to explain it away, saying that he thought the image showed him as a doctor, not Jesus, and suggested that the controversy has been overblown.
And did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better. As an example, the 11,000, I understand your husband's going through treatment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's going through some very serious cancer treatment, so
yes, sir.
This goes a long way.
Yes, sir, it sure does.
Yeah.
He stay doing that shit. He stay not following HIPAA laws, don't he?
A doctor.
I wasn't going to tell anybody, but I guess I put it out there.
Do you see doctor anywhere? Like, it's not giving doctor.
Right. I don't see no scrubs, no stethoscope, no nothing.
Maybe the nurse down there threw him off.
Then came Vice President JD Vance, noted recent Catholic converted to Catholicism as an adult, and is now kind of caught between the fray of the Pope and his boss and Donald Trump. He stepped in to address both the image and the broader clash with the Vatican.
I don't think that it's particularly newsworthy, but I certainly think that in some cases it would be best for the Vatican to stick to matters of morality, to stick to matters of what's going on in the Catholic Church, and let the President of the United States stick to dictating American public policy. But when they're in conflict, they're in conflict. I don't worry about it too much, Brett. I think it's a natural thing. I'm sure it'll happen in the future, and it's not that big of a deal that it happened in the past.
I mean, seems to me that's what the Pope was doing. I didn't hear him name anything specific in that post about.
That's exactly what he was doing.
So, yeah, I mean, like, what are you talking about? So, I mean, how far is too far? I mean, it seems like we ask this question every week. Do you think Trump thinks we're dumb and we're just going to accept the doctor thing? I did hear one theory that there was a strategy that he was in a meeting for, and they said the strategy pitch was to say that the photo was doctored, and he just heard doctor. That's one theory I heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but it would make sense to why he thought it was a doctor, because it makes no sense otherwise. But do you think Trump thinks that we're stupid and we're just going to let this go into the abyss, or do you think there was something more to this?
Do you guys remember when Donald Trump said he read the Bible, and they said, "What's your favorite?" And he said 2 Corinthians. I believe that Trump is so far away from Christianity. He genuinely saw that image, was like, "Oh, there's someone healing. That must be me as a doctor." I believe him because he didn't associate that with a religious image, because Trump is pretending to be Christian to the point where he has no idea what any of the depictions, like, he really has no idea. And so, yeah, his favorite is 2 Corinthians, which is something he had just read before he got out there. And yes, that picture is of a doctor, because who is just Jesus you're talking about?
Look, my biggest issue with this is the credit that people on the right are getting. There are people who are speaking out against him on the right, and it's disgusting to me that we're consistently platforming them. Not us here, but like social media is platforming these people and saying like, "Oh, they did such a great job." Look, Donald Trump has disrespected women. He's disrespected children. He's disrespected minorities. He's had ICE running the country. He has bombed other countries. He has made fun of a disabled reporter. And now you guys are saying like, this is where you draw the line. No. We're not allowing you to draw the line here, because 2 days later, you're going to be back with the BS. We have been telling you for years that Donald Trump is poison. He is a terrible person. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
If it took him dressing up like Jesus to welcome people to the neighborhood, they lost, brother.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, you,
right.
And then the crazy part of that, we're actually giving these people cookies. Like, why are we saying, "Oh, you know what? Thank you so much for calling him out on"? No, I'm calling you out for saying that this is a problem, because there's been plenty.
I guess it took him to make fun of Jesus Christ for there to actually be a limit for some people.
What about all the other stuff he's done? Like, what are we?
It's nothing that this man. It's nothing that this man won't do. I mean, I'm not surprised.
We've been told you that. We've been told you that.
I mean, he told you from the very beginning what he was, and he ain't never lied. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never lied.
Basically said, "You can be our king, but not our God." Took it a little too far.
Not too much. A little too much. A little too dip on your chip.
Not too much on the Christ.
How about the war the war with the Pope is something that I called early on. Like, as soon as the Pope was an American Pope, I was like, how long before Donald Trump and the Pope get into it about literally peace on earth and being humble and being meek and being like literally the foundational things of the Bible.
But I was tripping off of the Pope talking about poverty, holding his press conference on this private jet. Like, bro, you don't know nothing about being poor poverty. You want a private jet holding the press conference.
Why is everybody doing press conferences on planes? Like, what is that? Because Trump does it too. Like, what is this?
Leaders. What do you mean?
Oh, damn, y'all always flying somewhere?
Yes, they're world leaders. Yeah, they're flying.
I didn't know. To be honest with the Pope,
but I will say this though, Trump better leave them Catholics alone, boy, because man.
But I think that's why he did it though, because it's one of those things where it's like if other people start to say, people that they respect to start to say certain things, you look at it like, oh wait, is this true? And he has to make sure that he is the supreme leader. Like, he has to make sure like he's bringing it back in. So he tries to shut the Pope down so that it makes it look like, okay, look, my way is still the right way to go here.
I'm telling you, Catholics can be just as radical as Jews in this country. You better leave them Catholics alone, brother.